Good evening. Today is April 21st, less than a week after the property tax reports have come out. I have been getting flooded with lots and lots of questions, so I figured I would do a video to help give you guys some guidance and some instructions on what to do if you want to fight your appraisal value. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys and show you what we're looking at. So when you received your information from the county, I'm going to specifically talk about Tarrant County, partially because that's the county I live in, and also that's where most of my clients' homes are in. So that's kind of the main county I'm going to address. If you didn't, you most likely got a blue slip in the mail. This comes from the county. If you have a registered agent representing you for fighting tax appraisals, they actually most likely received yours. So if you did not get something in the mail, there are a couple reasons why, so don't fret too much. You can access the information just by going to tad.org, that is TAD for Tarrant Appraisal District.org, and you can easily just type in your address and it will come right up. So here's an example of a client that called today. This is all public records, so that's why I'm using his as an example, because you could literally look up anyone that owns property in Tarrant County, but you just type in the address or even the name. It will pop up their information, and you click on the account number, and then scroll down to see the information on what the previous years and what the proposed year is for this year. So reasons you may not have gotten the blue slip in the mail is either they have not yet come up with your value. There are some people that they're still calculating, but the majority of Tarrant County have gotten their 2021 blue slips. The second reason is that it didn't increase more than $1,000 in value. So they're making the assumption that you're not going to protest if they only increased your home value by $1,000. Or the third reason would be kind of like me, where I have someone protest my taxes, and so he got my blue slip, but I was able to just pull it up off of tad.org, tad.org. So in this example, this gentleman has owned his home since 2017. You can see the improvement market price, the land price. There is a very interesting discrepancy between what's called total market value and then the total appraised on here. You'll notice there's a difference between the total market and the total appraised. He has what's called a homestead exemption. So definitely when you look up your property, you want to see that if it is your primary residence, that you have your homestead exemption on there. If it does not show homestead exemption, I'm happy to help you with getting that filed if it's your primary residence. I've sent out many, many reminders for all of my clients on that. Note there underneath the homestead, it says that they will not list any of your other exemptions on there, like your over 65 exemption due to fair housing. But so on the total market versus the total appraised, on here it shows his total market at $219,967, but his total appraised at $192. The 192 number is the number that he would actually be paying taxes on. The reason being that the two main things that that homestead exemption does is gives a $25,000 discount on the amount he is taxed on, and it keeps the value from being increased more than 10% in a given year on the amount they can tax him on. So that's where the discrepancy is. They were capped when they increased it from $174,000 the previous year. They could only increase the amount they're going to charge him for by 10%. So that's why there is a discrepancy, and there's actually work being done right now to try to change some of those wordings, because it is very confusing to the public, and frankly to me too, why they would call it total market and total appraised. Keep in mind that the appraisal value, according to Tarrant Appraisal District, is not the same thing as paying for a home appraisal on your home. They don't communicate or have anything to do with each other, which is why we have a lot of questions around this time of year. So I wanted to point out a few resources that are helpful. So if you want to contest your appraisal value, you can do it a couple different ways. The way that Tarrant Appraisal District is recommending you do it now is going to be online, which is extremely helpful. It's going to eliminate a lot of the extra hassle and heartache of going in, hopefully for many people. So if you click on the information right at top of under forms, notice to protest, you will find this very informative breakdown on how to file online a protest. You are actually able to use the code on your blue slip in order to go ahead and contest the number yourself. So here's the instructions, the detailed instructions. You type in your account number and the PIN that is located on your blue slip. They don't want random people filing and protesting on other people's behalf. That's why it's specifically on yours. You'll create an account on their website, and it will actually say, do you want to protest? You say yes, and it will ask you what number you feel your home is worth, and you're able to type that in. You will get an instantaneous response with a counter or potentially an acceptance, or that they're not going to change your value at all. In this case, if you wanted to contest it, you say, you can pick a number out of a hat. They're not even necessarily asking you to provide supporting information at this point. If you say you want them to drop it $20,000 and they drop it 15, and you say that's fine with me, let's do this, you're able to go ahead and say yes, you're going to accept their counter proposal, and you have just protested your taxes in a matter of 5 minutes, which is pretty amazing. If you feel that the number is not what you want, either they didn't reduce it enough or they didn't reduce it at all, you can still formally protest further. And there's information on here on how to do that. Now, if that's a little overwhelming or you're still not quite sure what to do, they have some specific videos on how to do some of these things, and it gives more information, kind of like what I talked about, what the total market versus total appraised value means, how they come up with some of those numbers, which to a certain extent is kind of out of thin air. But if you would like to have someone else protest on your behalf, I would recommend checking out freetaxprotest.com. My friend Chandler Crouch, who is actually another real estate broker, he has made it his personal life mission to change how we handle property taxes. You are going to start seeing Chandler's name in the media, local media specifically, because he helped about 17,000 people protest their taxes in Tarrant County. So he's the one that actually have helped me with mine. He is also working on some formal litigation down in Austin, trying to help change some of the laws, reduce our increase from 10% to be able to increase annually to 5%, and some other things that will help protect homeowners in Tarrant County and just in Texas in general. So if you want to register to have him protest on your behalf, you are able to go on to freetaxprotest.com, put in the account number, which is on your blue slip. It's also the number at the very top of your information there. If you do have to put it on Tarrant Appraisal District on tad.org versus the blue slip, you can just put in your address and it'll come up with your account number right there. You're able to fill that in on his website and create an account. Once you've created an account, you are able to add supportive documents, whether that be a previous appraisal or a previous home sale, a closing disclosure from a real estate transaction that was, fairly recent, or what I consider even more important is any kind of repairs that your home needs. So if your home is in disrepair, the county may not be necessarily aware of that because they are going to only basically be looking at aerials, drive-bys. They haven't really seen the inside of your home. So if you have foundation damage, interior damage, things that need repair that you feel have diminished the home values, then use that as data as well. You can see at the top of his website that there is a clock because the deadline is 23 days from now. So mid-May is going to be the deadline for filing your protest. So make sure that you do that sooner rather than later, whether that be taking 5 minutes to do it online yourself or filing to have him do it. It used to be the case where if you protested your taxes, they could change the value, not down, but up. That is no longer the case. So worst case scenario, if you protest your taxes and they say it stays the same, then it stays the same, didn't cost you anything. But if they're not able to make it go worse just because you decided to protest. So it is your right, and it doesn't really, hurt anything to try. One thing also to keep in mind too, if you are interested in what your home is actually worth, because you are noticing that these values are going up, I am happy to do a market analysis for you. Prices and values have actually increased over 15% compared to last year in Tarrant County. So chances are they're increasing your taxes, but they're still not increasing them to the point where your home is truly worth. So if you have thought about selling, let me know. I am definitely here to help. And I actually have a few specific programs if you want to buy that new house, that bigger house or that smaller house, but you are not going to be able to qualify to sell your old one rather than risking being homeless. I have some programs that might be a good option where you can buy the new one, have help with the down payment, and then they would just take the proceeds from that down payment from the old house after you've moved into the new place. So just let me know if you're interested. If you have any more information, questions and would like me to kind of go over this more specifically, I'm happy to help. Really, I just want to be a resource for past clients, friends, neighbors. So if you know somebody that has questions, feel free to share this video. I'm going to be posting on YouTube and Facebook and stuff, and I'm going to probably send it out to everybody in my database just so that way I can kind of help be proactive because I've had many people reach out just within the last couple of days asking these questions. So I figured I would do a video and help you guys out. So hopefully this is good information. I'm going to figure out how to stop sharing now. There we go. Hopefully this is good information for everyone. I'm Sarah Lyons with Century 21 Judge Fight, and I'm never too busy to help you or your family with any real estate needs.